Let's see. Yeah, I got it. Zoom, I got it. I sure do. It's not crypto coffee. It's not crypto coffee. And my special guest tonight is not Todd Lewis, but I sure hope you're hungry. I sure hope you're hungry because you're going to get some Uncle Peanut Butter and Jam. This is the Epic Jam Session. Yeah, the first of many to come. It is August 8th, 2022, and I have with me Jam. And he is also known on Twitter as Hodl underscore. What is it? Hodl underscore Epic.
Epic hodler. Epic underscore hodler.
Oh, geez, I totally screwed that. Epic underscore hodler. So go find him right now and follow him, and you're gonna learn why tonight. What we decided to do, if you've never experienced any of these jam sessions, these Epic Twitter spaces, you're going to learn about them tonight. You're going to be kind of an audio voyeur tonight. And what Jam and I decided to do, Jam, welcome to the show, by the way. What we decided to do was Jam is going to take the first 5 episodes. And right, is that how we decided we were going to break it up? 5 episodes, and he's going to review those. So if you missed the last month's worth, well, you can tune in right here, and we're going to catch. You're going to get caught up, and we're going to do this hourly. The beginning of the month, each month, we're going to review the Twitter Spaces in arrears. And so welcome to the show, Jam.
Thanks for having me, Uncle, as usual. It's great to be here, and I'm looking forward to doing this review. It's been a great first 7 episodes, and I'm looking forward to summarizing and discussing the first 5.
Excellent. I see people are showing up in Epic Cash. Thank you, everyone. Can one of you be nice enough to please copy a link of the live stream and share it in all of the appropriate places? I'd really appreciate it. We have 8 watching, 3 thumbs up. So let's correct that. Let's smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's see if we can get Uncle V to 2,910 again.
Yeah, what happens with that, Uncle V? Why does that keep happening? Can you explain that? Or
I can totally explain it. Is because my channel, I changed the name of my channel, but it was a channel before called the Uncle Odd channel, and I had 7 different Uncle Odd channels, all the way from the Uncle Odd Show to Uncle Odd 2, Uncle Odd 3, Uncle Odd 4, and I talked about a lot of things that didn't have anything to do with crypto. They were more about what's going on in this world. The people like at the World Economic Forum, whom I call the Druid Babylonian bastards, what they're trying to do with this world. And I got on a bad boy list, and all of my channels started getting canceled. Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, boom, that channel's done. And so by my 7th channel, I went from like 10,000 subscribers down to, I think I had maybe 98. And then January 2021 hit, and somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, Uncle Odd, you need to invest in XRP." And I've told this story before lots, but I didn't know what XRP was. He said it's crypto. I knew nothing about crypto. So I'm like, well, I like talking on YouTube. Maybe they'll let me talk about crypto. So I thought, it might be kind of neat. I need a project anyway. Let me get into this crypto stuff and just start documenting my journey as a crypto newbie. So that's how my channel started. It was still the Uncle Odd Show. And the word got around. So I ended up getting up to like 2,900 subscribers pretty quickly, really quickly, as a matter of fact. And then somebody at YouTube woke up and they said, "That's that Uncle Vigilante dude. That's Uncle Odd." So it's shadow ban his ass. And so I literally, you can watch it. It's kind of humorous. It'll go from 2,900 to 2,010. Sometimes I'll get to 2,920, and then boop, Next day, I'll open it up and I'm back at 2,900. Now, for 18 months, more than that now, probably 20 months, don't you think, Jam, I might have gotten more than 10 to 20 subscribers over that last period of time?
With Epic Cash the way it is, yeah, I mean, obviously, but we're in a bear market, aren't we? So, when they come back, let's just say the people that invest at the top and start having a meltdown when everything starts to dive, I'm sure at that point you'll be at 5K, 10K, and we'll be looking back at these moments and laughing.
We'll be looking back at these moments, and I guarantee I'll be at 2,910. I've witnessed it. It is my scarlet letter. I wear it with pride. All right, everyone. Jam, you are the host of Twitter Spaces for Epic Cash. This is really your movie. I'm just here giving you the platform to be able to update everyone who might have missed it, as we committed to do. So I'll hand it over to you. How do you want to manage this, being our first one?
Sure. So, I mean, let me start with obviously episode 1. I won't start screen sharing just yet because I'll start doing that once I start sharing a few clips of hopefully everyone else's favorite moments, but my favorite moments. So, episode 1, as I'm sure those who remember listening to, for those who haven't listened to yet, was why does Epic Cash stand out? And obviously, this was the first ever episode.
Time out.
Sure.
You've just been christened because I rudely interrupt you, like I rudely interrupt all of my guests. Before you start going down this path, would you please share with everyone, what were you thinking? Why did you decide to start Twitter Spaces? And it just intrigues me.
Yeah, sure. So I think I may have shared this on another video with a live stream we did, but for those who I'm repeating this to, so apologies. So to say it all again, so basically I started to do a mental health NFT project in November, December, late last year. And the idea behind this was to generate NFTs. It was about 50 or so, and it was using an online software, and it would generate NFTs that were representative of mental health illnesses that we see today. So bipolar, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, escapism, and many more. And the idea behind this was for these to become profile pictures on Twitter, and eventually on Instagram and Facebook, etc., and for these to be sold on either the Ethereum or Polygon network, and with the funds and the profits from the selling of these NFTs to be donated to a charity of choice chosen by a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the creation of the NFTs were made. I do have them. I haven't shared them just yet, and I have thought about sharing them. But I kind of realized that tweeting about this every day, it wasn't really for me, and so the love kind of passion kind of fell away, let's just say.
Sure.
Anyway, to cut a long story short, I started doing Twitter Spaces with lots of different mental health NFT projects in the December-January time.
Okay, so you were already doing Twitter Spaces and were comfortable with the platform.
Exactly. Yes, I was joining lots of different Twitter Spaces and just discussing, social anxiety, depression, how people can get help, etc., etc.
Great.
And I came in to the Epic Cash community again. I thought this time I would get an oar in the water instead of being in the background. And I saw that we weren't doing it. And I saw that we had a few YouTubers. I saw that we had Twitter accounts doing tweets, but nobody was taking advantage of what I believe to be this untapped resource.
Awesome.
And that's where it started, and just dived in and just took it from there. And that's where we are today.
I am grateful that you did. And so let's begin. Before I rudely interrupted you.
No, that's okay. No problem at all. So episode 1, why does Epic Cash stand out? So obviously, as we've just mentioned, this is the first ever episode of Epic Cash Twitter Spaces. And so, including myself, it took a fair amount of time to become familiar with with hosting it, when people should talk, having confidence to talk and speak up in this new platform.
Sure.
And, it was obviously expected. And so, it was kind of a case of, let's get the first episode out of the way. Let's complete it. And then we can reflect on it as a community on how we
Hey,
can.
guess what you did? Guess what you did? You made the decision to start ugly, which is the best advice that I can give anybody who wants to put their oar in the water doing anything, A. And B, I'm sure that you've heard this before, but perfection is the enemy of progress. So if you're going to wait and let me listen to 10 other Twitter spaces, see how they're managing it, and let me just get it just right. Guess what? You're never going to start. So good on you for just starting and then learning, right? It's come a long way.
Yeah, it's like learning your trade, learning on the job, so to speak. So yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. So obviously, yeah, we did the first episode and we kind of figured out how to improve this. And you've given me some fantastic feedback over the last few episodes, which is, again, it's really appreciated. So in terms of diving into the first episode, we spoke about the privacy elements of today's crypto. So let's say, for example, Uncle V, I send you Ethereum right now from my MetaMask wallet. Suddenly, you have access to my wallet balances, you have access to my transaction history, etc., etc. So this was a key topic that came up. We also spoke about fungibility, the importance of mining distribution rewards via CPUs and GPUs, and we also touched upon the flaws of Bitcoin as well. Now, I would like to specifically bring up fungibility because this was quite a prominent topic on the first episode, and to be honest, it's a prominent episode every week in the Epic Cash community, so that's okay. And we discussed, obviously, that Bitcoin isn't a truly fungible asset and why it's not.
Well, you know what? It's what's interesting is I actually have sorry to interrupt again.
No.
But I have, where did my screen go? There it is. I actually have, let me share screen. Somebody had sent me this picture where a bunch of Bitcoiners were talking about the elephant in the room. I don't know if you saw that or not. But, yeah, fungibility, right there. Shout out Monkman. He's the meme king. Sorry. Okay. That one was just too easy. I always have that open on my desktop just because it's like, I just want to keep driving that meme home.
So the obviously the scenario of tainted coins obviously came up, and if I decided to, and I'm not saying I did back in the day, but if I wanted to get a bit of a bit of marijuana, a bit of cocaine on Silk Road, then of course my Bitcoin is going to be tainted. And that's a prime example that many people use on Bitcoin and fungibility. And so obviously as a community, we came to the conclusion that Bitcoin is not a truly fungible asset. And obviously Epic Cash was. So that was pretty much episode 1.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, I'll start to share my screen now because I would like to start sharing some best moments as well, if that's okay.
Yeah, please do. This is going to be fun.
So can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. Absolutely.
Right. Awesome. So episode 2 was, what will the worldwide impact of Epic Cash look like in 5 years' time? And I'll be completely honest with you, Uncle. It probably still is my favorite episode of Twitter Spaces out of the episodes so far. And the reason being, I'm sure people who were on the call may be able to recall this, there was so much passion shown and so many passionate views, and it was just really awesome to hear and sit back and kind of steer the ship and get the conversation flowing. But it was so easy that day because there was so much passion that was shown in everyone's opinion, where Epic Cash is going to be in 5 years, etc., etc. And I would love to be able to summarize these passionate views in my own words. But as I mentioned, I think the best way is to play the clips from this episode.
Cool.
Because gives a great summary of how the episode went. So let me know if you can hear it, and hopefully everybody else can.
Sure.
Here is
Yep.
the solution, because these guys, their lifeblood is the money system. They create it, they loan it, they get interest off of it. So the only way that we as a people can take this world back is to stop using their money. So that's where, when you ask me, when I think about where is this world going in 5 years, I say enter Epic Cash. I think that our future is going to be good versus evil, centralization versus decentralization. The Goliath BTC is absolutely compromised. It's the bankster's bitch now. And I submit that within 5 to 10 years, the Epic Geese ecosystem will be the world's David and Goliath. And I think we all know how that story ends. I have so much conviction that we are going to be the replacement of the bankster's money. Okay, I'm done.
Sounded like a smart dude.
Well said.
So I would just like to say, I'll be honest, every time I hear that bankster's bitch comment, it always makes me laugh. It's brilliant. So that was the first part.
BTC stands for been totally compromised. Everybody look it up.
So the next part, this is also the same episode, but it's actually Levy who came in with some great points. So I'll start with this one as well. To be honest, there's so many parts to this episode that I could pick out. I'll start with this.
Jim, can we just give a shout out to the ladies of Epicenter, ladies of Epic? I mean, aren't there just an amazing? It's almost an embarrassment of riches. All of the incredible talent that we have that are on the estrogen side of the table. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I must say, I was absolutely buzzing and so happy that we had both Donna and Kim on the show, because I know Kim has been a regular on the show, but it would be fantastic to have more ladies on that weekly Saturday show as well. So Epicenter, ladies of Epicenter, if you are listening in, please, I strongly encourage you, please come on, because it would be great to hear from all of you. Anyway, let me get to Levy's comments, and then there's one more for this as well, because I love this episode so much.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think in 5 years, I think it will be number one by far. I mean, no guarantees, because nothing is guaranteed. But my personal opinion, I think it'll be number one by far, because I already look at Epic Cash, and the Epic Cash wallet as like safer than a bank. After learning, the corruptness of the financial system and how like literally, it causes inflation by the Federal Reserve printing money, and I don't know, it's just all these private corporations just making loads of money. I think Epic Cash has so much use case, has so much good impact that it can have on the world, and I am personally already treating it like safer than my Chase bank account or whatever. And so yeah, I think in 5 years it'll be number one by far. That's my opinion.
And I must say as well, Levy, when he is able to make it, he makes some absolutely fantastic points. He really does.
I really enjoy him as well. Absolutely.
And the last part, just do comment if this is too much, obviously, but I just love the episode, so I needed to get these in. So let me start with this one as well. This was Izzy and a few others.
Hey, and I'll just chime in. Epic has what it takes to get there, 100%. I've been hopping around from one thing or another, over diversified across too many assets. I've definitely narrowed down, and Epic is definitely at the top of the heap. I'm not a maximalist. It's just not my personality or whatever. But Epic definitely at every turn, there's been something special about it. And at first, it was eye-catching because of the technology, the way it mines, the way it rewards proof of work as the consensus algorithm. There's no pre-mine. This is just, that was on page one. Then page two, getting to know the developers, the founder, so Max, and then talking to Yoga and knowing his experience, and being kind of like a little bit earlier than I was to crypto, and then just realizing this path I'd been on of hopping from one thing to the next and just looking for just rambunctiously moving. I still pay attention to what's happening in the world and technology, and it's because there's things that, and that's the thing, like I know people in the Epic community are paying attention to what's happening out there, and we are sort of the Borg of crypto. So and no matter how much that changes, at the core we have our flagship money, that store of value is Epic. And absolutely, one thing after another, the people, the community, the technology, the connections that are being made, the partnerships, the eyebrows going, oh yeah, that is a good idea. No doubt in my mind. Ever. Yeah, we are going to be number one. And I'm in line with Enrique's comments that, it happens before 5 years. Yeah, close.
Mm-hmm. I want to say, guys, if this does happen, like if Epic Cash becomes number one, I mean, there's been plenty of Bitcoin conferences, so I'm sure that in a bunch of years there will be Epic Cash conferences, and I don't know. I just think we got to have like some sort of Epic Cash OG group or something, and then we got to like meet up at that conference and like just laugh about this, because there's like 8 people on this Twitter call, and it really started from nothing. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it'd be, I don't know. It's funny. It's really funny.
I know. Recorded. We'll be playing this back and just kind of laughing at it. Our pondering.
I mean, how awesome was that? It's so awesome.
It was great. That was an excellent show. All right, let's go to number 2.
That summarized episode 2. So moving on to episode 3.
Okay.
It was Max Freeman presents the Epic ECR and EUSD ecosystem. And we were lucky enough, obviously, to have the founder of Epic Cash on the show, and who better to deliver this topic than Max?
Absolutely.
And for this episode, I want it to be like structured in a way whereby anybody listening in on call would have the ability to generate an understanding of what Epic Cash is and the Epicenter ecosystem is. So, for example, what is Epic Cash? What is ECR? And in hindsight, this actually worked out well, and we were lucky enough to be able to get this episode to be the most viewed. This is the only episode we have with over 1,000 replays. So
wow.
In hindsight, it works out fantastically well.
Hey, quick question. Are you purposefully keeping this same screen up? Or
I'm not. No, let me get rid of that.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say if there's going to be a different screen for number 3.
Yes, there will be. Yeah.
Great.
So once we got these basics out of the way, I know Max, obviously Max and the information and the knowledge that he has, he wants to dive deeper, of course. And we managed to do that in terms of looking further into the intertwining relationship between the Epicenter ecosystem. Mm-hmm. And we managed to ask Max about, for example, why will the Epicenter ecosystem not capitulate like Luna and UST did earlier in this year? So Max obviously came back, and Max being Max said, well, I've studied pretty much every single stable coin project over the years in the crypto space that has ever existed in the industry. And we've taken the positive points from the ones that have succeeded. And we've also learned from the mistakes that many, many stablecoin projects have made. So I couldn't possibly summarize it the way Max has. So that's the best I can probably do. But if you're interested in listening to this full episode, as you can see here, it's episode 3. It's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible. I would suggest anybody who hasn't listened to that, go and listen, because you'll be provided with a rapid education on what the Epicenter ecosystem is. So I then asked Max a question on how he would compare the Epicenter ecosystem in comparison to the existing financial system we have today. And this is what I would like to play. I would like to play this clip of Max's take on that. And let me know if it's too loud as well.
Sure.
Could you offer your thoughts on that and talk to us how you feel that the Epicenter ecosystem will succeed by being a better version of the current system we have today?
Yeah, so that gets to the heart of it. Paul Krugman famously said that what backs the US dollar after gold and after petrodollar are no longer backing is men with guns. So our system does not rely on coercion and violence to exist. That's very important. There is no central authority in our system. It doesn't depend on trust. Our system doesn't require permission. It can also never fail. I mean, of course, we have to assume that the internet exists and blockchains exist and many other things that I think we'll all agree on are safe to assume that are going to continue to be the case. But if you live in Canada, the Interac electronic payment system went down yesterday. Canadians could not make payments. In England, the real-time gross settlement system back in 2014 was down. Russia just got cut off from SWIFT and the global financial system. Russia and Afghanistan both had, in Afghanistan's case, I think it was $10 billion. In Russia's case, I think it might have been 640. Somebody can fact check me on that. But basically, Western countries just said, oh, we're going to steal your money. They had the power to do that. Nobody can steal your value or deny you access to that value with our concept of money. So our money is politically neutral. It doesn't depend on violence. It also doesn't redirect wealth upward from the have-nots to the have-yachts, as we've seen since 1971 when we went off the gold standard for the Federal Reserve note. It led to some very severe consequences for the erosion of the middle class and poor people not being able to get ahead. And meanwhile, the caviar set adds ever more zeros to their wealth. And so you're seeing a lot of social consequences. So longer term, it's not just about the money. It's about the type of world that we will have as that money becomes baked into our commerce and our social understandings. I really think if we didn't have Epic and USD and the Freeman family and Epicenter DAO and all these things that we were doing, I mean, this great reset, like I'm not one to eat bugs and live in a FEMA camp. I would just be completely distraught if we didn't have this reason for hope. And I know a lot of people feel that way as well. So we can't control that the deranged psychopaths are bent on destroying the world we have. But what we can do is stay strong for the post-reset world and create the change that we want to be and have something to look forward to, which I think is really important.
Hey, Jam, real quick. I just want to throw in a public service announcement, and I am being dead freaking serious for anybody listening. You know, the Druid Babylonian bastards are pushing all of these insects. I mean, you have famous people that are talking about eating crickets and stuff. Everybody needs to understand you cannot cook insects to the point to where if you eat insects that are cooked, either the protein will be so cooked out of them if you cook them at the temperature that it would kill the parasites, or you're going to be eating parasites. So don't go down that rabbit hole, or even, have fun. Ha ha ha. I'm eating a handful of crickets with your kids or whatever. Just don't do it. That, Jam, is the kind of stuff that got me strikes, but screw it. Don't do it. Don't do it, everybody.
Well, that could be the most valuable public service announcement I think you've done. That was fantastic. We all need to know that very soon, unless you're an Epic Cash holder, of course.
Yeah, just don't. I mean, parasites are nasty, everyone. So just think about that, because I think there's going to become a point that, and I had this conversation with my daughter, who's a sophomore in college, And I'm like, it's going to become a thing because the World Economic Forum is pushing it so hard. I mean, it's everywhere. You turn it, it's everywhere. It's just silly and stupid. So it's going to be a ha ha ha. These are the butter, salt and pepper flavored variety. And they're eating parasites and they're going to make everybody sick. So don't do it. All right. Back to you.
Absolutely. No, it needed to be said. So yeah, just rounding off episode 3. So when the discussion opened up to the community, some really great questions were asked again. So I think it was the question actually came from you. Actually, one of the queries was, how does the Epicenter ecosystem work for the bank of me, for the bank of I, for the bank of Uncle? And so Max, educated us on, if we wanted to get a $100 EUSD loan, then we would need to lock up the equivalent of $200 in both Epic and ECR. So i.e. an over collateralization of 2 to 1. And so, that was a really good episode in terms of educating all of us on the system that we're building as a community.
Excellent. Hey, I want to give you a little bit of feedback here because while you were talking, I know there are 7 episodes out, but I saw Mother Trucker saying that she loved listening to you on Spotify, and I have the podcasts on my iPhone, and I subscribe to Let's Talk Epic Cash, but there are only 4 episodes. Are there more than 4 published, or is my app just not picking up the most recent?
No, you are absolutely spot on. There is a limitation with downloading data from Twitter. So I have to download the raw data, and then I have to basically download it every 8 or 9 days. So I'm a little bit behind.
Okay. It's good.
I'll be honest, I was also working on the Filipino project, which we'll get to later as well.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
I'm slacking.
Okay, so you're just behind a little bit. That's fine.
Oh yeah, yes.
I just wanted to make sure that that I wasn't missing something, or if I had to reboot my podcast. Okay, cool.
So episode 4. So we got on to what are the biggest risks to the Epic Cash project. And for this episode, what happened was I presented a number of potential risks that could arise for Epic Cash in the future. And this included, for example, let's take us back to the days of where Monero had, I don't know whether it still has, but it had a bounty on its head of $625,000 from the IRS if anybody could crack Monero's privacy. And, one of the risks that I put out there was what happens if and when that happens with Epic Cash, because I personally think it's just a matter of time. So that was one of the risks. And the other risks were, for example, we as a community, we always like to say that Bitcoin is AOL or Yahoo. We are Google. Epic Cash and Epicenter is the Google. But what happens if there is a Netflix that comes along? What happens if somebody else has better tech and a better protocol in the not so too distant future? That was another risk. And another one was also quantum computing. And I must say, I thought the Netflix example I just gave, as well as the quantum computing, could cause a few difficult discussions, let's just say. And I was pleasantly surprised to hear from everyone that the flexibility that is involved with the Epic Cash protocol can basically, even if we wanted to take out Mimblewimble, I understand that we would have the ability to do that. And we would have the ability to adopt any new superior technology into the Epic Cash ecosystem if we chose to. So that was obviously fantastic to hear. And the quantum computing question, I specifically remember you saying that Todd Lewis basically laughed it off and said, we're not too worried about that. And I think the week after that, Todd Lewis came out and said, we now have a working proof of concept for quantum computing resistance. So it all came out really nicely. And when I was putting the episodes together, I was a little bit anxious, apprehensive of, what if people get put off if I'm bringing these risks up? But every risk was just basically pushed back to me, and there wasn't any risks in the end. So it ended up being an awesome episode.
And you know what? In the spirit of iron sharpens iron, we should be having these discussions. It's those who put their head in the sand, you know, fingers in their ear. No, 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 you know, that's when you get into trouble. You become an angry Bitcoin maxi. So we're not going to do that.
So again, I'd like to play a short clip, just to again give a quick highlight of the episode.
Sure.
I do want to focus on the risk, because I know there's people. I'm one of those people who are. What's the worst case scenario? You know, what can happen? What can go wrong? And what are we doing to be prepared for that? And I'm just so relieved that people like Todd Lewis and core developers in this project, like Max and so many other people, have their head in that space, and they're like, and you can see it in the design that the proof of work algorithms can be switched out. Even Mimblewimble could be switched out if that were to be compromised. And so it's speaking to, you know, the topic of risk and how prepared we are. Like, we've already demonstrated that we can do what Bitcoin did in 2010 and come back from, you know, a high caliber shot to the head kind of scenario where it was a value overflow incident, and who knows how many coins were in existence, because it's a privacy chain and there's no way to prove it other than to roll back the chain and go to this place where we know the hack happened, and we can prove that. And then, you know, and that's what we did. So community responsiveness, intelligent design to be flexible and agile to future threats. That's what Epic Cash has. We're ready for it.
Bring it.
I think that perfectly summarized episode 4, I thought.
Izzy is one smart dude, that's for sure.
Yeah, if I had half of his brains, I'd be a happy guy. So moving on to episode 5. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was actually your shout, Uncle V. So thank you for that. So the title, and you can probably see it on my screen now. So if and when Bitcoin Core or BTC falls, why? And will Epic Cash be the heir or the next in line? So the podcast topic started off by, you know, me simply asking everyone in the community what their most important reason on why Bitcoin Core could fall from the top of the mountain as where it sits today. And the first response from yourself, Uncle, was a fractional reserve, which was a great point to raise. And I think the topic of I think Max he's mentioned that he has some contacts in some businesses that have basically said, you know, there's no chance that Bitcoin has less than 21 million circulating supply. It's more like 50, if not even more than that.
If not more.
So that was a great point to raise. And this obviously led to Max taking us back to school and educating us on what fractional reserve banking is and how it occurs within centralized exchanges and the problems that it causes that, you know, has been delivered on many of your shows as well. And so I think as a community, we have a good level of knowledge on those aspects now. And the next topic that came up was, or after fractional reserve practices, was by Enrique. And again, the important aspect of fungibility. And so I'd like to play the clip of Enrique telling everyone about what fungibility is, and then Max giving us a prime example of how this could happen in real life, and not just on paper or not in theory.
And I can just give you an example real quick. Let's say you bought some Bitcoin and you have it in your wallet, and that Bitcoin was mined in 2016. The miner, you know, sold it to a person who used it to buy, you know, to do some illegal activity, and you know, whether it be illegal pornography or drugs or assassination, whatever, you know. That coin, since it retains its history because BTC is a public blockchain, then the person holding the BTC thinks he's fine. But if their government makes a law that, you know, they want to go after anybody who has coins that have been involved in XYZ scandal, you know, the holder is innocent, but they're in trouble because they're holding coins that were used for an illicit purpose. And that's basically it.
Would anybody like to give an example of
Yeah,
a real
I'll give you-
case scenario?
I'll give you an example from my own life. Many years ago, I lived in an apartment complex, and I had a Wi-Fi router. And this is back in the very early days. Now, of course, they all come default encrypted with passwords and stuff like that. But I didn't have a password set up on my router. And one of the other people in the apartment complex was using it to transmit kiddie porn. And later that year, I moved out and I was living in my house. And 5 o'clock in the morning, I had like 6 armed sheriffs come. Good thing I was up working, or else they would have kicked down my door. And they, seriously thought that they were going to come and bust me for being a predator. And luckily I'm not into anything bad. So it was all just a fun misunderstanding. I had some fun with the guys. Do the mug shots again. Can I get a photo from my Facebook? Or people that, like, the SWAT team shows up to the wrong house and kills the guy, stuff like that. And so the example that I always like to use is you sell your car on Craigslist. Somebody says, "Hey, I've got 25 grand here in BTC. Let me give it to you. I buy your car. You go home, and then the next day you get that kick in the door because the blockchain says that you are tied up in a financial crime ring with meth dealers."
Okay.
Right?
So that pretty much summarized episode 5, and obviously that brings me to the conclusion of the 5 episodes that we had planned for. And I would just like to say, before you jump in, Uncle V, if you wouldn't mind, I would just like to thank everybody for their participation, because I'm the one who hosts it on my Twitter, and I do a little bit of work in planning the episodes, but the show is absolutely nothing without the community participation. Literally absolutely nothing. So I just want to personally thank everybody who's been involved in the Twitter polls, the contributions that you give in terms of your opinion and your perspectives, the ideas behind the topics every week. I just want to thank everyone, basically.
Thank you for starting ugly, and it's a beautiful, beautiful Twitter Spaces right now. So, and it's only going to get better each week. So yeah, really encourage everybody to go subscribe to your Twitter channel and participate on Saturdays. Let everyone know exactly when these begin.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's every Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's always been consistent from episode 1 to episode 7. And to keep it consistent for everybody on the East Coast, Pacific time, etc., it works out well for everybody. So
yeah, it's a good time
every week.
Perfect. Well, that was awesome. Thank you for summarizing those. I think that went really, really well, and I think is very helpful. So let's get into some fun stuff. I want to talk about your project. Or let me flip that. I want you to talk about your project.
Okay, well, if I take us to the presentation then, and hopefully this will go on the large screen, if you can see that. Okay, so obviously a few people may have caught my proposal paper. I think it was middle of last week that I put it together, and I suddenly just had this light bulb moment. I think about a month ago, I started realizing how much potential Epic Cash has in the Philippines. And I started talking to a few people about what can we do about this? And we started talking about podcasts and social media. And then like I said, I suddenly had this light bulb moment of, right, Jam, just go there. Just go and do it yourself. And that will be the best way to make an impact. So here's the presentation and the proposal paper submitted. So if I move to the next slide, if I move this across. So I think.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Of course, absolutely.
I just love the fact that you're like, yeah, why not me? I'll go. Hey, coach, put me in. My question is, or I'm going to make it as a statement. You don't have kids, right?
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay. or pets?
No, I don't have any pets.
Okay. See, good on you doing this. You're doing yeoman's work. and you're doing it while you're young and spry, and you and your best half are doing it together, enjoying. So that's just awesome, man. I love it. I just love it that you're just, you're going where, your gut takes you. So tell us why the Philippines.
Sure. So I'm sure there's probably quite a lot of people that probably saw the proposal and the initial message, and they were probably wondering, like, why on earth would I want to even do a Philippines project for Epic Cash? Why would I want to market and help generate adoption of Epic Cash in the Philippines? So, and as obviously you can see a few summary bullet points there, and maybe I can go into a little bit more detail on them. First of all, Filipinos are very much into their gaming. And so instantly, to me, light bulb moment again, I keep saying that, there is a huge opportunity to get Filipinos to start mining on their gaming laptops with their GPUs and their CPUs. And it's a way for them to earn passive income. So to me, that was an immediate point. Now, I'm sure everyone, going on to the second point, I'm sure everyone or most people have heard of Axie Infinity, the blockchain play to earn game. But what many people probably aren't aware of, until you've probably seen the bottom right graph, is that a large proportion of the overall adoption of this play to earn game was from the Philippines. And the reason is because there were tens of thousands of people during the pandemic lost their jobs, and many were looking for ways to earn passive income and to earn money. And it so happens that you combine that with the hugely popular gaming culture that they have and wanting to earn money. It was almost like the perfect storm to generate adoption for the Philippines.
It's an amazing stat.
It is. It's incredible. It really is incredible. And I'm not sure too many people actually know about that stat. Everybody talks about how popular Axie Infinity is, but the majority of that comes from Filipinos. So it's an amazing stat. You'll also see that I've included consistent economic and political uncertainty. And the reason why I mention this, and I don't want to go too deep into it because it is a delicate topic and subject, but there are many people, especially Filipinos in their country, who are concerned with the recently appointed new president of the Philippines. And his name was Bongbong Marcos. And this is because he's actually the son of a previous president of the Philippines, who unfortunately was a dictator. And he controlled the media narrative and allegedly killed those who were against him. And I don't want to go into any more details. As I said, it's a very delicate topic. But I think it's important to note that, Filipinos to have an alternative option with money in this scenario is extremely important. I'll let people put 2 and 2 together with that one. And last point, as you can see, Philippines is the 3rd largest English speaking country, and it makes it somewhat easier for us as a community to be able to, communicate the unique characteristics of Epic Cash. Despite even having these brilliantly translated documents, it's still easier for us. So that's why the Philippines. Now, do you have any questions, by the way, Uncle V, just in case you want to jump in?
No.
Okay, cool. So how am I going to do it? How am I going to spread the word? So they have many internet cafes and gaming centers to support not only the demand for gaming, but the demand for people who don't have an internet connection at home and who are not lucky enough to be able to have a computer at home. And so one of the strategies would be to go to these cafes and these gaming centers. You can see one of them in the bottom right. That's a popular gaming center in Quezon City, which is where my wife is from. So this would be a prime example of where I would attack and tackle. And I would look to, implement and incorporate several strategies with this. One of them would be to promote Epic Cash mining on all of the desktop computers, because it could be like a passive income for the businesses. Epic Cash stickers, as you can see, we could stick all of those on, be it headsets, monitors, the wall, wherever they'll allow us pretty much, so we can promote Epic Cash. And you'll see as well, actually, that there's a Philippines sticker there with an Epicentral QR tag. And just before I continue, I just would like to give a shout out to Ryan Comiskey. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, because predominantly by Ryan, with some support from Max, they've been doing some really excellent work behind the scenes in terms of producing these flags with the QR codes that link directly to the Epicentral website for all of the countries worldwide and
Nice.
all of the US states. And when these come out, I think it's just good to note that Ryan deserves a hell of a lot of credit. So thanks a lot, Ryan, from myself.
Shout out. That's great.
And okay, so moving on, yeah, I would also like to place basically mining tutorials of like A3 and A4 laminated sheets throughout these gaming centers and internet cafes, because I think it's a very easy document to publish, you know, in conjunction with how much you can earn from mining Epic Cash and also the positive attributes of Epic Cash as well. So on the next part, I would like to actually hold open event presentations. And the reason why is because I was thinking about this a lot over the last week or so. And a lot of my strategies, as you can see from the third one as well, setting up stores to accept Epic Cash, it's me chasing and following leads as to how I can help people adopt Epic Cash. But I thought to myself, okay, how can I get people to come to me at the same time as chasing leads? And so the idea came to me of holding open presentations where I would promote a completely free, no strings attached event where I would do a presentation on Epic Cash, what it is, why it's unique, and why it's basically the most sound money that we all believe it is. And so I have a number of
and PS, you can even promote that that they can receive free Epic Cash simply by coming to have a listen and opening up a wallet, right? Because
exactly, that would be one of the main selling points. Absolutely. So yeah, so I would hand out a flyer. I would create a flyer to everywhere I went, and with the posters I would put up, I would say, look, here's an open event. It's completely free. Like you've just touched upon, I will send you some Epic Cash just for coming, and you can learn about what I believe to be the best cryptocurrency on the planet. So hopefully, if obviously this project goes ahead, these would be recorded. I could put them on YouTube. I could put them into the Telegram groups, and yeah, hopefully that would be a wise and efficient strategy to implement. So I'm looking
very
forward to
cool.
that.
I like it.
So yeah, I won't go into too much detail on the others. Setting up stores to accept Epic Cash, I would like to attend one shop per day. That would be the target, and to also find more Filipino content creators as well.
Perfect.
Cool. So on to the next one. So my project targets. So I don't need to go through all of these. I'm sure you can interpret it. I'm sure it's easy to interpret, but you know, these are my targets. And what I would like to say is these targets, I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. And so I do hope to achieve more than these targets that I've put in this table. But I don't want to start saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then I don't achieve anything. So these are my targets that I would like to achieve, and I will do everything I possibly can to achieve these targets.
Well, you've demonstrated you lead with your chin, and so you are part of that trust tree. And that's why I wanted you to come on here and talk about this and share it with everyone. Because over a 10-week period, if you can get greater than 200 people set up with wallets, that becomes a big deal, you know, and I believe you will do it.
I hope so. Fingers crossed. I'll have to get my head down.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think a few people may be wondering as well, you know, why Jam? Why me? And that's a totally justified question. I would probably do the same thing. So firstly, I'm lucky enough to be able to be married into a Filipino family. My wife is from Quezon City. If you can see the map, it's the bluey turquoise region within Metro Manila. It's the largest part of Metro Manila. And I've also visited the country a few times as well. And so I have a really good understanding and appreciation of Filipino culture, and he can even speak a little bit of their language as well. So that's always useful. as I mentioned, family and friends in Manila, which makes it extremely useful for me and obviously convenient.
Yeah.
I don't think I really need to discuss my passion for Epic Cash. I'm hoping I've demonstrated that. So I'm not going to go into that. And okay, I can see the opportunities I'm presenting to you today. And I think, as we've mentioned, you can see from the pictures, you probably know me from Epic Cash Twitter Spaces and the Passion for Epic series. So I don't want this to come across as me presenting everything I've done for the community. And so that means, oh, guys, I deserve to be funded. No, absolutely not. No way. I just not how I think. And so I just want to demonstrate to the community that if this project were to be funded, I would do my absolute best in trying to generate growth and adoption of Epic Cash every day I spend in the country, and that I can be a trusted individual, basically.
Yep. You're credible.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so moving on to the funding, the funding element. So of course, as everyone realizes, this project would require funding, and as you can see from the bottom left, there have been some absolutely amazing contributions so far, and I just want to thank every single one of you because it means so much. And every single time I've received one of those, contributions, those donations, it just picks me up. It's really hard to describe, but it just means so much to me. So thank you ever so much to those people.
So walk us through this. So you need 23 for you to do the 10 weeks. You need to raise $2,300 as your budget for the entire 10 weeks.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. That's for the entire 10 weeks, including everything on the right-hand side that you can see from those icons.
Yeah. I mean, people, everybody, let's think about this. Jam, I know that the only way that you're able to do this, I presume, is friends and family, right? Because your wife is from the Philippines, and imagine you'll be welcome in some homes for accommodation. Tell me if I'm wrong there. Or
no, you're absolutely right. That's a method of me being able to save money for this project.
Right. So I look at this, and the TBC, I'm noted there. Let's talk about that. Part of what you are going to do is you're going to give away talk about the coin giveaway.
Sure. So I mentioned earlier to everyone that I would do these open presentations. I would introduce hopefully businesses to accept Epic Cash and all of these methods. And when I introduce these people, I will get them to download a Vite wallet, obviously, if they would like to. And once they've downloaded that Vite wallet, I would send them 2 or 3 Epic Cash just to get them started, get some interest, because as you know, when you start to have a few coins, even if it's just a few, you start to automatically gather an interest. And so I don't know whether you wanted to take it from here, but you were really kind enough to be able to say, look, depending on how much you raise and how long you go for and how many people that you can introduce Epic Cash to, I will be the one to send those Epic Cash and contribute it. So
yeah, I just wanted you to take that out of your fundraise. Sure. Just so that so if you build that in, then it's the dollar amount's going to be a lot higher. And I have said before, I've never sold one Epic Cash coin, but I've given a lot away. And to me, you and your wife going and making this journey and doing all of the work, I would be grateful to be the benefactor of the coins that you give away. I will make sure that you have them.
Yeah, I would just like to stress how appreciative I am, because it's extremely kind. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I just really encourage everyone, and I'm sure you're going to show people where they could, man, this last week has just been astonishing. You of course know the project to where we're wanting to get the GUI, the new GUI wallet translated to 58 languages. And so we're looking for sponsors per country, 93 Epic per country. And it's just been astonishing how the community has rallied. I mean, I think we're probably more than 2/3 the way there already, just like within the week of being able to have, because so many people, and it's cool seeing people, I want to sponsor Spain, I want to sponsor Italy, and we're a community project, everyone. It's like the only way I got my Epic Cash was I bought it. Some people earn it, some people mine it, but nobody was given a big bucket of Epic Cash up front. It was a fair launch. And so everything that we do to help grow the pie comes from people's energy that they put into the blockchain, and that's sweat equity or financial equity or mining equity. So projects like this, when the community steps up and they're willing to say, hey, look, you know what? I mean, God bless them, man. I don't want to go spend 10 weeks in the Philippines, but I get it. You've made the case that seems like a very receptive area, and you've demonstrated the fact that you are a doer. And so whether it's this or Mother Trucker helping the with the language project, sponsor a language project with Yvonne, it's just amazing how our community rallies. And so and look, man, the way I look at it, like I look at 100 Epic from El McMurphy, Ryan, Mother Trucker, Izzy, Levy. I always add 3 zeros onto every Epic I send to someone. And I'll tell people that. I'll say, well, it may only seem like 100 Epic to you right now because, we're trading around $1. I add 3 zeros because I have 100% conviction in my heart that I believe within the next 2 years that we're going to be trading at $1,000. There's just way too many force multipliers that are in the works. Wait until you hear Friday's Epic Cash Live PS exclamation point. Tune in.
Oh, I just dropped that bombshell in there. Now I'm just looking forward to Friday. That's awesome.
I'm not kidding you, man. It's I'm going to play you something on Friday that's going to make your jaw drop. It's going to absolutely make your jaw drop. So that's why I add 3 zeros on the end. So I look at this as El McMurphy saying, hey, look, I'm willing to give $100,000 of value to you for this project. So he's willing to give up $100,000 of future wealth to be able to fund your project today when Epic's trading at $1. When we're trading at $1,000 and you need to raise $2,300, how crazy is that? You need to raise 23 Epic.
I think that's going to be a little bit of an easier job, isn't it?
Or I'm sorry, 2.3 Epic.
I was going to correct you, but I thought I'll let it go.
2.3 Epic. But think about that. It's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, community, you rock. You rock. Okay, let's go to the next one here. We're running over 5 minutes, so let's get this thing going.
Okay, so how to donate. I know you mentioned it. I'm on Epic Tip Bot, and my Telegram username, as you can see there, is jam_93. And I've also set up as well a separate Epic Cash PH project wallet on Vite. So again, any contributions that can be made, I would really appreciate it. Even if it's a small amount, anything you're comfortable with would be amazing. And it will go a long way to making this project happen. So anything at all, I would be really appreciative. All
right. So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
I'm just going into my Epic wallet now, and I want to send recipient address scan. go back. I want to just scan.
Sure.
So let me scan. So that gave me your address. And just because I want to see it working,
Sure.
I just put 10 in. Let me put my password in. It's so damn long. Oh, please don't tell me it's wrong. Nope. All right. Now I just did what you can do. Okay. Everybody watching this, if you have a Vite wallet, you just go into your send. And then for the recipient address, you hit the plus sign and it'll say my Vite address, Vite contact address, or scan. You scan that barcode. The first barcode there, and it'll auto-populate the Vite address, the donation address. So you should have $10,000 worth of Epic.
I love that. Yeah, I've already received it. I received it within like 2 seconds, as expected. So fantastic. Thank you for that, Uncle V.
You bet. So everyone watching, man, scan that. Send him some love. Let's get this project funded.
Thank you. Right, so if I move on then to the last one, yeah. It's just a thank you, basically. There's the Telegram group. I can probably name it something a little bit better than that. But again, I'm keen to make this project happen. And like I've said a few times, anything at all would be really appreciated.
Now, what the hell is that? T.me. You can do better than that. Can you go change it? Can you change it?
I will be changing it. Yes, I put this together in a bit of a rush, actually, so that will be changed.
T.me. Capital. Oh, geez.
Yeah, I need to step up my game with that, I think.
How to chase a parked car. That's marketing 101. How to turn customers into prospects.
And that's it, guys. So I'll stop sharing my screen and thank you for all your time in just taking your time and in me presenting that opportunity and project to you.
All right, you're viewing Jam's screen, so there you go. Stop share. Beautiful. All right. Well, that was good. How do you think that went, Jam?
I think it went well, but it will be good to get feedback from the community as we do with everything.
Yeah. What did you like? What did you not like? Direct it all to Jam.
Don't blow up my messages, guys, please.
Okay, well, I thought it went great, and I appreciate everybody. 12 people watching now, and we have 21 likes, so we had a lot of people come in and out, and that's awesome. I appreciate that. So thank you, all of you who are watching, who are, of course, Epic Cash OGs. If you join t.me/Epic Cash, if you become an Epic Cash coin holder, guess what? You're an Epic Cash OG too, because we are still so early. We are still so early. I mean, imagine someone being able to give you, kind of a peek into the future when Bitcoin was at $1 or below. It's just amazing. But we have the benefit of Bitcoin for the last dozen years. Numbers go up technology, and we, of course, are HTTPS Bitcoin. So we kind of know how it's going to play out over time. And we have taken everything good about Bitcoin, and we changed a couple percent of the DNA that we think Satoshi would have if he would have had access to 2019 tech at the time when we launched Epic Cash. And of course, that included Mimblewimble, which doesn't turn us into a privacy coin, but it sure makes us a project, a coin whose transactions happen to be private. And there's a big difference. It's a big subtle difference that has regulatory side benefits, friends with benefits, if you will. All right. I had to. Okay, everyone. That was good. Thank you, Jim. Really appreciate it. And thank you for we're going to do these at 7 o'clock, but I needed to delay it to 8 o'clock tonight. So I appreciate you being flexible with that. And I hope everyone enjoyed it. Please go to t.me/epic cache. Had somebody in there ask about the overflow incident, and I suggested he ask that same question at Freeman U, t.me/Freeman with a U at the end. That's the perfect place to be able to ask any questions, technical or otherwise. Max teaches in there. There's a few other people who teach in there, and it's just a great place to go learn more about crypto, blockchain technology, and monetary policy. Just a great place. So we hope to see you. Put an oar in the water, everyone. Putting an oar in the water can be as simple as, if you have only 100 Epic Cash, hey, take 1% of that, 1 Epic Cash, send it to Jam. Help send him to he and his wife to the Philippines to go spread the gospel according to Epic Cash. All right, Jam. Thank you. I appreciate all your time. Everyone in the chat, thank you for giving us your time as well. And so until next month, Jam, cheers.